You already know we right here at work decided to hop on, chop it up with individuals he was cracking. We on our lunch break. It's a beautiful day here in Southern California. Nice and warm. You know, it's like about 87 degrees, clear skies. Beautiful day to be out and about and, enjoying life. But you already know that we got to slave away like slaves right here. Got to pay the bills. So we at work. But decided to hop on and see what's the talk of the town. It's going down. The word on the curve. You heard me? Buenos días. ¿Qué onda, carnal? Was cracking like an angel. You getting yourself into, my boy? Mr. Pasa's definitely up in the building. Was cracking like an ishi. How's that good life treating you guys? How's your guys' Saturday going? ¿A toda madre o un desmadre? Madre, that means mother, right? The homie Derek is definitely up in the building. Woo woo. Cracking like in Derek. Hey, I seen Rodeon Radio's coming to an end, my boy. I was like, what? Serio? Well, that's what I was told. I don't know if I was lied to or not, but at least that's what I was told. I was too lazy to go and confirm that. But I was like, what? Serio? Why? What a trip. But then again, I think, YouTube does take a toll on some individuals too, though. Getting ready for work. That's right, my boy. Getting ready to make the squilla illa illa. I know that YouTube sometimes, people aren't accustomed to all the shit that comes their way. So they're like, fuck that. What about the documentary? Did he ever announce a release before quitting it? No. I don't think he even cares, to be honest with you. I think he completely forgot about that shit, to be honest with you. And that's cool because what he was going to be left with wasn't going to be much for a documentary, right? Because, all the main ones he didn't get along with, right? Like Royalty, Night Owl, Kid Frost. So, like all the main ones from Chicano rap, right? Like the big names, he had beef with. So, it was going to be very difficult for him to make that documentary possible. You know what I mean? Especially when these other guys that were the pioneers. So that doesn't really give you that much wiggle room or options to roll with. The channel that was supposed to make the Chicano rap documentary, Simon Carnal. Yeah. Hey, we try to make it come true, right? We try to make it come to life, but no se hizo. It is what it is. I met Tony A before he was all right. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, no one's saying that the guy's a villain or anything like that, right? He had his fall off with individuals and questionable decisions here and there, right? But, not to say that he's a complete douchebag, right? Depending, however, people's interactions with him, right? Because everyone's going to have different, experiences with the individuals, but saying all over in general. You piqued my interest on Mr. Combs. Damn, crazy stuff. I think I'm going to give the Vince McMahon one day watch it. Yeah, bro, Vince is crazy, my boy. Vince was doing all kinds of crazy shit and now when you look back at, all the story angles from the WWE, it's like a lot of that shit was like, now you see it different, right? Because it's almost like he was, playing that sick, twisted joke within what was happening on live on TV, bro. It was his way of reliving those experiences. You get what I mean? Because he's the main head honcho. He if shit wasn't approved, it wasn't gonna get approved. And if he wanted something done, it was gonna get done, right? So all of those weird angles and shit that he was saying and scenarios he was putting on TV, he put himself. He created those scenarios for himself, right? Makes you wonder. You know, it was his way of reliving those memories. It's quite twisted if you really think about it. And you know, and nothing was off limits, and nothing had a boundary to it. Not even his own kids or his wife, for that matter. That lets you know um, truly he had no care in the world for nobody but himself. And no wonder why him and Donald Trump were really good homies. It's crazy how Donald Trump always ends up being friends with all the shadiest people out there. You know, having good relationships with them. It's quite strange how he just happens to gel with those kind of people, right? And all the how can I say all the civil people, all the people that are like respectful and have morals, he seems to, you know, not get along with them all that well. I don't know. I just find that interesting. You know, like, nah, well, Trump doesn't speak hatred and doesn't promote racism. Yet every racism person out there and group supports Donald Trump, right? Why is that? Why is that? Why does his message resonate so well with these individuals? Strange, isn't it? I'm just saying. I don't know, Tony. Like that. For me to say if he's a bad person, nice personality, or person on YouTube is different. I say, yeah, facts, bro. You know, you can't let um, people also try to change how you feel about an individual, right? Um, you're going based off of your experiences. It only becomes bad, like let's say if you choose to point out other people's behaviors when you hang around with somebody who displays those same behaviors. That's the only time that it becomes like, well, that doesn't make any sense, right? Like, I understand that you should only go based off of your experiences with an individual, right? But if you're choosing to call out other people, then it's hypocritical, right? Or let's say when facts are being shown, or facts, people bring facts, right? Because it's the same thing like serial killers family, right? When people be like, how could these individuals defend them, and then their reply is like, well, he was always nice to me and he never killed nobody I know, and he was always a good person with me. So it's like, so because he never hurt you and he was always nice to you, then that makes it okay for him to slaughter like 13 people? then then he's not a bad person because he was cool with you, but he did this and this and this. You know what I mean? Just because people display good actions doesn't um justify their misbehaviors as well, though. You know what I mean? Just something to think about. It's funny how these guys have these weird terms and for their shenanigans. Freak offs, the fuck. I know, bro. They just try to be unique like that, bro. They try to be that one. Like, I don't know about you guys, bro. That guy, just straight up, just seeing him like, interviewing like Justin Bieber or that shit with Fabulous, just that shit in itself, I would not want to hang around with a person like that, bro. That's just some weird conversations, bro. Like, he just makes scenarios so awkward, bro. Like that whole Usher shit from the beginning, when people first heard that, they should have already been like, what the fuck? Because I don't give a fuck. He has always tried to justify it. Michael Jackson has tried to justify it. All these people have tried to justify it. But truth of the matter is, bro, you're a grown adult hanging around with children, having them sleep over at your house and in your bedroom when you have a fucking big ass house with like fucking 13 rooms, yet the individuals are in bed with you. But there's nothing wrong with that. Uh-huh. And yeah, you know how society sees it, how it's structured, right? But yeah, you still go and do it, right? But um, there's nothing going on. These individuals can't control these fucking urges of theirs. The reason why they do it. Can you say happy birthday to my friend? His name is. Nice try. Can I ask a random question for a project? Yeah, go ahead, shoot it. If I'm able to answer it, I'll answer it. What do you think about kids who don't choose to be in gangs but just want to get in trouble, pranks, and have fun time in their way? No, but see, there's a reason why they're doing, why they're getting in trouble and doing pranks, right? Like, it's not, they're not doing it just because of the simple fact that they enjoy it, right? The enjoyment comes from something. It comes from satisfying something. What is that something, right? The problem goes deeper than that. It's not just that, right? Because negative behaviors are not just you know generated out of nothing, right? Unless they're like psychopaths, right? Which is rare that somebody's born a psychopath. It does happen, but it's rare though. You know what I mean? So 9 times out of 10, individuals, there's roots to why they do what they do, right? So the fact that they like getting into trouble and doing pranks, it's for a reason, right? Because bringing trouble upon somebody, or wanting to see somebody's feelings get hurt, or just somebody just bringing them down makes you happy in some type of way, is for a reason though. Like, people just don't naturally feel that or want to do that just because. You get what I mean? Isn't a psychopath born, a sociopath made by environment? This is, most of the time that is true, right? But I don't know. There's also research saying that they're nothing is set in concrete, right? So there is cases where it's shown that you can create a psychopath, right? If the person has gone through some, how can I say, it takes the right storm, right? It takes the right elements to make somebody truly a disturbing individual, right? Like, fucking planets have to align, right? But from time to time they do. Right? And then that's what creates these monsters, some of these monsters, right? Because not all psychopaths are murderers, or not all sociopaths are murderers, right? But if you get the right circumstances together, oh yeah, you can create one of the most despicablest people in the that has ever walked this planet. What's the difference between a psychopath and a sociopath? Psychopath has no emotional attachment to nothing, while a sociopath still has certain things that he's emotionally attached to. While psychopath doesn't feel anything at all, at all, at all. Like, to him, there is no love, no pain, no happy, no sad. Like, he can't. He doesn't know how none of that feels. He has no empathy. He doesn't feel anything, right? He don't feel happy. He don't feel sad. He don't feel nothing. Like, everything is all the same to him, which you got to think it's a horrible existence. People, may sometimes see it from a different perspective. Like, well, if he never feels sad, or he never feels depressed, or any of those bad, feelings, then isn't that a good thing? Like, no, because he can't feel love or happiness. He doesn't know what none of that feels like, right? So, I mean, that must suck, right? Not, you know, like, to him, he has no attachment to nothing, right? Like, you can tell him his mother just died or whatever, and he's like, oh, okay. Like, it meant nothing, right? While a sociopath still has some attachment to, there's certain things that he cares about, he's driven about, right? But they're all selfish, though. They're to benefit him, and it doesn't matter who he hurts in order to get to what he wants, right? But like I said, there is something that he truly still cares for, right? There's still emotions attached to him, even though they're selfish. And in my personal opinion, he's more dangerous as a psychopath, right? Because a sociopath could blend in better than a psychopath, right? The manipulation game is better on a sociopath than a psychopath, because psychopath really could care less if, you know what I mean. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It's irrelevant on him. The sociopath could adapt, right? He could, you know, he's very persistent in manipulating the situation to going in his favor. While psychopath's really just not gonna go through all of that. You know what I mean? A sociopath will have a specific victim he already target. He's gonna target that individual. A psychopath, if that victim gets away, whatever, he just moves on to another victim. He'll choose somebody else. It's irrelevant. It's all to him. It's all the same. It don't matter. Sociopath will make it, like he's driven. Like, nah, I want this specific person right here. So I feel like they're more dangerous. But they both lack the empathy and the being able to relate to others, right? Psychopaths don't laugh. They laugh, but it's like when they do show emotions. Because I was watching these interviews where they were interviewing several psychopaths, right? Um, you know, criminologists and psychologists and all that, right? And from what they say, when they do show any type of emotion, it's always for like it's like they're trying to be normal. Like they know that right here, if they see other people laugh, then they'll start laughing because they're trying to, you get it, fit in. But the thing is with them is that it doesn't seem, it always comes off as not authentic. That's why these individuals are seen as weird, right? Because it's like the way they're doing it is not coming out naturally, right? Like it's forced, so you can kind of tell like they're pretending to laugh, right? Like they're faking it, right? And people just when you're faking emotions, it just comes off as weird to people. They're like, "Fuck, what's wrong with this person?" Because they're just trying to be normal, but in truth of the matter is that they just don't feel anything. Like I was saying about that individual whose mother had died, right, and his family, stopped messing with him and just pretty much kicked him to the curb, right? And because he showed no care or no empathy, right? And he was mad because he didn't understand what they wanted him to feel. Like he didn't get what they wanted him to do. Like he didn't understand. Like he couldn't tell what they exactly wanted him to do or to feel because he couldn't feel anything. You get what I mean? And he couldn't understand why people feel anything in general. Like why do people care so much about anybody? And they don't understand because they don't have, emotions, and that must suck, though. And these are functioning psychopaths that they were interviewing, so not like the serial killer types. So these were like functioning, people who have jobs and stuff like that, right? And it's just, it's hard for them to make friends and overall to relate to people because they're always just come off as, and even in the interview when they're interviewing these people, they watching it, they do seem strange though. Like they do come off as like okay, so this person's not really all there. Right? But that's because on a day-to-day we interact with people, right? Just by going up to somebody, you can tell if they're in a good mood, in a bad mood. You can tell by their face expression, their body movement, their body language, if somebody's mad or sad or happy, right? So on a day-to-day, when we're interacting and conversating with people, we already know how it goes, right? How it is, by just observing, but not really homing in and paying attention, right? But we put it in the back burner of our brain. So this is pretty much how it goes with everybody that we interact with. Now, when you come across somebody like a psychopath, they give you no face expression, so you can't read their body movement, their body language, their like everything that you do with everybody else that you can see from everybody else. The psychopath doesn't display the same characteristics, right? So it makes you uncomfortable, right? Because you can't really read this person without even knowing it, right? Like there's something off about him, but the thing that's off about him is that you can't tell like, well, is this fool cool? If he's not cool, is he messing with me? Is he not? Like, you can't read them, right? So you don't know if they're joking, if they're being serious. So the interaction that you have with these people comes off as strange to you. Like like I said, it makes you feel uncomfortable because it's not from what you're used to. It's different, right? And that's why these people don't really, like, nah, it's cool. Nah, I don't need to ride. It's cool. I'll just walk, right? And people be like, I just had that gut feeling. But it's not that you had a gut feeling or your intuition. It's just that because of how we interact, right? And now this person is giving you the opposite, right? And that's just stuff that we pay attention to because our brain is always working and our eyes are always observing, right? But we're just not really homing in and paying attention to those kind of things, right? Um, but when you're now experiencing them, right, you get that gut feeling. That's pretty much your brain reminding you, like, hey, there's something off about this person because it's different from what we're used to. So that's now the brain releasing that information, right? But since you weren't paying attention to homing in on that, right, it just comes off like it was a gut feeling, right? Same with your dreams, right? When people say, like, I don't know, I had a dream about this individual person I never seen before. But that's the thing. Our brain cannot create images that we've never seen. It can't create stuff that we never seen and experienced, right? So you have seen that person before. It's just that you weren't paying attention, but your eyes are always looking, and your brain is always gathering information. So when you're dreaming, it's just reminding you of the things that you weren't paying attention to, right? But that's why you're like, what? I never seen that person a day in my life. Well, no, you've seen them. You just weren't paying attention. But your brain, stored those images because the brain cannot create new images. And that's actually, something that's fascinating, I thought. I was like, oh shit, what a trip. And that's something I had a difficult time in the beginning, right? Because I used to, get some bad grades before on these shit, right? It was never my strong field on it. Why is that psychopath that pleasures for murder, torture their victims? What drives them? That's actually one of the things why they interview these individuals, because they're trying to get in, because we completely don't really understand these individuals fully yet, right? So we're still learning, so this is not all stuff that's set in stone, right? So that's the reason why these individuals take the time to interview these people, getting to the understanding of how their brains work, why they do what they do, right? That way they know better how to combat these types of issues and know what creates these type of issues, right? So they really don't fully understand, what makes them tick yet, right? Because at the same time, like I said, these individuals are masters of manipulation. They've been lying their whole entire lives, right? So some of these, even the most professionals of professionals have a hard time, deciphering what's real and what's not real from what they're being told, right? And like I said, the reason why, anybody, is always better to interact with somebody, right? Talk to them face to face compared to, a video call or a text message, right? Is that you can't lie when you're face to face. Well, you can lie, but I'm saying you can be able to lie, but your body's gonna say the truth though, right? Because what happens is that when we're put in certain scenarios, right, we start creating anxiety, tension, and stuff like that. And that's something that we can't control as humans, right? So because that pressure starts to build up, we need to release it in some type of way, right? So we start fidgeting our fingers, moving our legs, tapping on the table, glancing, looking around, becoming frustrated. But the reason why we're fidgeting so much, right, is our body needs to release all that tension, right? So you can be lying, but your body's going to be saying the truth, right? And that's how people know when someone's telling the truth compared to their lying. That's why when they're interviewing these people, it's always important to ask different questions like, how was your day? Oh, what's your favorite team? And go into small, dialogue like that, right? That way you get an understanding when they're talking about something that they're comfortable in, right? And, getting a overall feel, right? And now when you start asking the serious questions that you want to know about, right? You start seeing what makes the person uncomfortable. And like he starts moving now. All of a sudden his posture changes. So that gives now the detectives, okay, he's uncomfortable with these questions. So there's a reason for that. So let's home in now on this. We're on the right track now, right here, because his whole demeanor has changed now. So that's how they know when individuals are lying or not. Because you're not going to be able to control that as much as you think that you got this in the bag. Nah, I'll be no. Your body's just not going to allow you, bro. It's going to release the tension in one way or another, whether you like it or not. And you're not even going to, some people don't even realize that they're doing what they're doing. Right? That's how, it's a trip like that. So when people be like, oh, these detectives are exaggerating or they don't know. No, your body's telling the truth, bro. You just got to pay attention. These individuals are trained to know what to ask and how to ask them, how to ask the questions to keep them talking and not off the bat insult them and critique them. And now they're going to shut down. They're not going to talk to you. You know what I mean? They're not going to want to talk. These individuals know how to, plant the seeds to get these individuals to slowly start confessing to what, you know what I mean? They're trained professionals, bro. They just don't sit around and eat donuts, bro. You know what I mean? They went to school for this type of shit. So these motherfuckers think that they're smart, but that's the reason why they always get caught over and over again. That's why they always say, the reason they say to get a lawyer is because now the detectives don't have the opportunity to sit down and interact with you for your body language to give you away. Everything now has to go through your lawyer. So it's more easier for you to manipulate now if the conversation is going through another person compared to if they're sitting down directly with you and you think that you're smarter because your body's going to give you up. You know what I mean? Because that's just how humans are. That's how we're built. That's how we're made. So an individual could lie all he wants, bro, but his body's going to say the truth. That's why it's always got to be done in person. That's why they always got to speak to you in person. That's why they're always watching. They sit you down in a room for a long period of time. They want to get to see your body language, your overall, how you are, right? That way, when now they start asking the difficult questions, they start seeing what changes, what has changed in his demeanor. That way they know where to home in the questions. They're just not randomly guessing whatever. It's all done, like I said, bro, like they got it all mapped out, bro. Because people could be like, well, how do they know that they're just not lying to the psychologist or whatever? Because like I said, bro, their body's going to give them up, right? They're going to be able to tell when they're lying, right? Because like I said, you're talking on a day-to-day small talk about everything, right? So then they start now, okay, every time he lies, he always does this or this or this, So then that's when they start homing in what's truth from what's not truth, right? And that's why it takes such a long time for therapy, right? They got to get to what's really true or what you're hiding and stuff like that. That's why it's just not something that could be done in one day, right? Or people be like, nah, they're just milking you for your money. Like, no, bro, they gotta, at the end of the day, they just gotta separate what's real from what you're lying about. They gotta get to know you, get to know who you are. That's why it takes so long. You know what I mean? It's not something that can be done so easily like that, right? When you're wanting to get to the bottom of something that's like deep. Because even though people are, try to lie, they will give you glimpses of who they truly are. You just gotta know what to look for and how to ask the questions or what to ask without insulting them, right? Like when you want to get to the bottom of like finding a missing person, right? The worst thing you can do is go in there and fucking tell somebody, where the fuck are they, you fucking piece of shit? Because then like that, you're not going to get nothing, bro. You got to know how to play the game. And even though I know that you got to hold back your anger and your frustration and your feelings, but if you want to solve the puzzle, bro, this is the thing. But they're trained, like I said, they're trained to know how to keep their composure, their cool and all of that. Because if you just go in there like a loose cannon, bro, it's never gonna work. It's never gonna work. You know what I'm saying? Same reason how they know if you're truly sorry or if you show remorse or empathy, right? The same reason why they offer you something to drink or something to eat. Because you know when you're feeling bad and nervous and all that, you can't eat. You know what I mean? You can't drink nothing. You almost feel like vomiting. You know what I'm saying? So when an individual saying that he feels sorry, but he's, oh yeah, I'll take a Big Mac combo and a fucking Coke. He's right there. Oh yeah. Yeah, but I really didn't mean to hurt them like that. He's stuffing the fries down his throat like, yeah, bro. We can see that you're really troubled about this. This is something that's really heartbreaking, right? That's how they know that. Oh, how did you guys know that he truly isn't sorry? Because even though he's saying he is, his fucking actions are saying otherwise, bro. He wouldn't be able to be right there chowing down like it ain't nothing. You know what I mean? Or even sleeping. Hey, that's somebody that doesn't give a fuck, bro. You know? It's all these pieces putting this all together. And why it's important to bring up their past run-ins with different scenarios. Like, why are people bringing up old shit or stuff that's irrelevant to what we're talking about right here? Because they get to paint the picture to these individuals. Look, he's done this shit before. This is not something new. This is who he is. This is his pattern. This is how he behaves. Because if it really wasn't, if he was truly sorry, then why the fuck does he keep doing it over and over and over and over again? You know what I mean? That's why these individuals always want to get other cases and other shit thrown out. Because they know that it'll make their, you know, plaintiff look guilty if they allow all this and this. Because they know that motherfucker's a douchebag. That's why they say that lawyers are some of the worst people. But something to think about, you know what I mean? Overall, ladies and gentlemen, it was good chopping it up with you guys. My lunch is over. I would have loved to stay chopping it up about this type of topic, stuff that I like. But we got to get back to it. We out.